a riot at the dog park studios. It's Live with Johnny. And now, here's Johnny.
Good evening, everybody. And you would have figured that with the countdown thing. So I had this plan in my head, and it was a whole thing on my thing and in my head. Good evening. It is Monday, October. I really don't know what the date is today. Do you, 10th. Off the top of your head?
October 10th.
I feel like that's wrong.
It's October 10th.
I feel like today is the 11th. It says it right there on the computer, so you're wrong.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm not wrong. Wait, who said I was not standing up to you enough? Yeah, I'm right, Johnny.
I have opinions.
Stop yelling at me.
I have so many opinions.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Do me a favor. Do you have
Yes.
DraftKings or anything on your phone?
I do not.
You don't. All right.
No.
We got to figure out what the line is for tonight's game. I'll look at my phone.
Oh, I could find that out while you're talking.
I meant to do that, and then I was looking at something else. Mojo Jojo will be joining us in just a few minutes. He's already logged in. He looks excited. He just gave us the peace sign. So Jojo's going to make his picks at about, I don't know, any minute when we go to him. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All right, I asked you a question. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm great.
Next time, answer me.
I answered you and you weren't paying attention.
Did you know?
I answered.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Did you know that, and I've had to delete them, someone is hacking our page, and they're doing, like, sending in those ads for things like, hey, want a bigger wiener, or want to buy some Ray-Bans, and stupid shit like that. So I've been deleting them and blocking them, and it hasn't happened in a little while. So if anybody is seeing that, let us know, and we'll try to get rid of it. But we're definitely not trying to make your wiener bigger, and we are definitely not trying to sell you Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
So please, help us report that if need be. I listened to last week's show when we talked about adoption, when I fixed the adoption game. 100% absolutely fixed the adoption game.
In playback, it sounded much more digestible than when I was listening to it.
Well,
I will say that.
I was going to bring something up to you. First, let me say this. Look at this kid. Look at him.
I know.
He's out of control.
It's out of his mind.
A couple observations from last week's show. Number one, I got sloppy. I don't enunciate my words. I truly sound like special needs Joe Pesci. It's bad. I don't know why you don't ever say anything to me like slow down, talk, because I'm like ba-ba-da-boop, ba-ba-da-boop, boop, boop. I have a bad. I don't know if it's dialect. It's
I'm not going to stop you mid-show and tell you to slow down, dude.
Yeah, it's bad. Again, I think I made the joke one time that if you ordered Joe Pesci off of Wish.com, I would be what you would get. Second observation, you got all nervous, and you're like, we're going to get canceled. We're going to get...
I was not nervous.
You're going to get canceled.
I was giving you a heads up that if you do go viral and get popular, that's how the cancellation starts. I was just giving you the heads up.
I would say...
I wasn't trying to...
That nobody should cancel anybody who is speaking their truth. I hate when
That's
people
true.
say that.
That's
I'm
true.
speaking my truth.
It's my truth.
My truth is my bank account should say $1.4 million. So, Mom, Dad, make that happen. Good evening, Mr. Randall. Mr. Randall brings up a good point. He says, sorry about your Mets. And we're going to get to that in a second. We're actually going to bring in JoJo a little bit earlier. I'll let you know when, because we are going to talk a little baseball about him and how I uncovered a ridiculous conspiracy last night. Watching that game. So we will get to that. So we did get one person to reach out and be like, adoption is a very serious.
Boop-a-da-boop-a-da-boop.
I took it serious. All I did was take those Wrangler jeans and turn them into Levi's. That's all I did. So I helped people. I was helped.
Your heart was in the right place.
If you did not
sure.
hear last week's episode, please go back, listen to it. And if you did hear it and you loved it, which you should have, share it to a friend. Send it, inbox them right now. The first person to inbox somebody last week's episode will get a $5 bill from Kirk. You heard it here first. Dude, you got a new job. You can afford that nonsense. Look at JoJo. JoJo's going to inbox me the thing and say, tell Kirk to send the $5 home.
Kid is nuts. I love it.
Just a reminder to everybody, tonight's show, we got the Mojo Jojo Monday Night Picks. we are going to introduce a new segment at the end of the show of something new we're going to do. And tonight, in about 10 to 15 minutes, we are going to tell the true crime story of inspiration, justice, and a young man doing the right thing by his people. We will tell you.
I have so many questions. Just go on.
The Napkin Nabber was nabbed, but we are going to tell you the story of the infamous Napkin Nabber.
Exclusive. Only here.
I'm going to interview him tonight. Spoiler alert, it's me. So it's a great story. It really, listen, it starts, I don't want to, I'll tell you where it starts. It starts at Dunkin' Donuts. Actually, it starts in a Chevy, and it ends in the Southbury jail. So we'll get there, and it's good stuff. But I'm going to put the headphones on. We're going to go ahead and bring in JoJo for our Monday Night Mojo.
Monday Night Mojo. Hey, JoJo, you're going to have to unmute yourself, kid. And stop moving your phone, bro. All
right.
Here we go.
Mojo, can you hear us?
Yes.
Mr. Rano, stay tuned. I will answer that question. That is a great question. I got asked that question about 14 times today. It's a great story. It's really I have a feeling that after this, like A&E or Hallmark or somebody's going to pick this thing up. It's going to be a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah.
Because
this is epic stuff.
The Napkin Nabber is an inspirational story. It's really more of a story of love and understanding. JoJo, how you doing? How you doing, bud?
Good.
How's everything at home?
Good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Last night, the New York Mets lost. They're out of the playoffs. So I'm going to ask you a question. Before we get started and I break down the game and yell at the New York Mets, you forgot something, buddy. I lost a bet last night. I have to take the garbage out for the rest of the year.
JoJo,
you don't even have to touch the
how
garbage.
did you forget,
How did you
dude?
forget that?
I didn't forget it. When I was in the car, I told my mom.
I told my mom.
Out anymore, and she's like, "Don't say a word to John."
Nice.
What's funny is with sports in the past couple of years, because like when they were doing the whole the COVID year, it was like watching a game with nobody in the stands. Really was just it sucked.
It
and
was
the seasons were
strange, dude.
So I started to like get away from sports, and I'm not a guy who roots. I used to root for the players. I don't care about that anymore. Now I just root for the jersey.
Yep.
And I
Colors.
just want my team to win.
That's right.
But last night we won 101 games. We had such a great year. We have such a great core of players that I really thought, in my heart of hearts, I really thought the New York Mets were going to go to the World Series and win it this year. I really thought that this was our year.
And then they didn't score one run.
And they just shit the bed. I mean, they were just terrible. And shame on them. And I hate to say it. Everybody's like, but you won 101 games.
Second place is first loser. I mean, there's no...
It's
101 wins and being in the wild card is crazy.
Yeah. It's, well...
How'd your Commanders do the other day there, JoJo?
We'll get to that in a second.
We don't talk about that.
All right. Well, Mojo Jojo, I got to tell a very important, inspiring story this evening. Look at he's got his Schweppes out. He's
look at him.
Living his best life.
Like a player.
Got his Cobra Kai thing back there.
Look at him.
Quick, Jojo. Don't even think about it. Just answer. Favorite character on Cobra Kai?
Mojo.
Okay.
Who?
The worst character in the whole show.
Is it? I believe you.
It's the worst character in the whole show.
Or Hawk.
That would have been a better choice. Johnny Lawrence would have been the correct. Johnny, he's the bad guy. All right. Last night we're watching the game, and it's the first inning, and I noticed something. And about the second inning, I'm in a room full of people, my wife, my brother, his wife, a couple of friends. And I say to them, what's up with this guy's ears? Either he's the super most sweatiest guy in the world, or I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then Amy says, go scroll back up. I want to see that comment that was there. Yeah, he's my Thursday night. Oh, there you go.
Here's my Thursday night pick.
Jojo, when we get to the pick, Coach Stone says that Thursday night pick is Chicago 24, the Washington Monuments 20. I love that he called them the Monuments, by the way. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to beat that tonight, Stoner. Stoner was the mush. He was in the building last night, but we still love him. So real quick, JoJo, we're going to show the guy's ears. Show the people the guy's ears. Kirk, did you take that picture I gave you or not?
No, what picture?
I sent you a picture.
Where?
In instant messaging.
Hold on, keep talking.
I thought it was on his ears.
His ears were glistening. They were absolutely glistening. So then Amy says, "Do you think he's cheating? Do you think there's like Vaseline or something on there?" So now everybody in the room. So now everybody in the room was like, "What the hell?" I went today. I went to work today, and I was on my lunch break, and I started Googling this guy, and he plays in San Diego, and it gets pretty hot in San Diego. His ears never ever look like that in San Diego. His ears never ever ever had that stuff on it. Are you raising your hand because you want to talk?
Yes.
JoJo, it's live with Johnny. You just interrupt the guy. Go ahead.
I think it was something called like Red Hot. It's like gasoline on your ear.
I don't think gasoline is what you were looking for.
Not gasoline, but I don't know. But
Wait,
they're
who is
just
he?
like-
I sent you the picture in your instant messaging.
In
It's
Facebook?
like-
In Facebook.
No, it's not there.
It's red something. I don't know.
Oh, I got it. Oh, I see it. Give me 1 second.
Cool.
Hold on.
I got the best producer in the world. Of all the producers in the world, buddy, you sure are one of them.
Keep talking.
Rob DiFilippo says about the guy on about the game on Thursday. He goes, "What's the over-under going to be, 19.5?" You ain't kidding, man. But his ears were glistening, and I Googled him. His ears had never looked like that before. He plays in San Diego. He plays a ton of games in L.A., a ton of games in San Francisco. They're in his division. His ears never sweat like that. I believe last night that he was cheating. He was absolutely cheating. Now, listen, it doesn't mean that the Mets should have won the game because they were horrible. They were flat. They weren't hitting. They were lifeless. They looked like garbage. And if that's how you're going to play, you don't deserve to win. So the Mets are out of it. That's it. And I would have loved to show the guys.
You sent me too much stuff, dude. I can't keep track of all of it.
Mr. Randall says, "Stop. They would have found it if he had it on him."
It's like
There's so much
Is
stuff
that-
here.
Listen, something was on his ears.
assistant warm
Yeah,
up.
I think at some point he wiped it off. But when he saw Buck coming out, they showed him kind of like wiping his shirt on his ear. I mean, listen, man.
I think
You know when you were a kid and you had chapped lips from coming out snowmobiling, snow riding, whatever the hell it's called, snow
Yes.
sledding,
Yes.
sled riding. Your mom would put the Vaseline on your lips. Oh my God, your face! Your face is chapped. Oh my God, you're so chapped. And then you walk into classroom and you look like Lady Friday from the Land of Make Believe because your face is all like. But anyway, I digressed.
Wait, I have it.
Okay.
Do you want to show the picture?
I want to show the picture for about 10 seconds so people can see what we're talking about, and then I want to get to Mojo Jojo and his Monday night. Look at this.
That's strange.
Okay, look at the inside of his ear, dude.
Wait, let me make sure I get it.
Yeah, that is not sweat. Do you see his cheeks?
It's very wow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, come on.
That I don't think that's perspiration. I think that's
Of course,
some kind
it's
of
not If it was perspiration and he was sweating that hard, that would be dripping. He would have drips of sweat. His neck would be wet. His shirt would be wet. Nah.
So, are you saying that this is the reason they lost, or did this just upset you? I'm trying to get
No, I don't want to. I don't want to say Randall called it Airgate. I'm going to call it Airgate from now. Thank you, sir. Look, new producer Dave Randall. Can you be here next Monday night at 7:30? How are you with computers?
Airgate is funny though, dude.
They were because of the cameras now. They can tell you the revolutions of the ball when he throws a curveball,
Yeah.
and his revolutions on his curveball last night had 3,000 more RPMs, revolutions per minute,
than his
average curveball. So, dude was cheating, but I really don't think it matters. The Mets sucked. They shit the bed. They screwed. Say again, bud.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, says the Yankee fan.
It's like 6-0.
All right, real quick, JoJo. We're not gonna talk about it. You're just gonna give me the winners in this ALDS. All right. So you got Cleveland and Yankees. Who you taking?
Is that a question?
Just say it.
The Yankees.
Okay. Houston and Seattle.
Houston.
All right, now let's go to the National League. Atlanta, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
And this from the guy who's got Ronald Acuna on his phone
Wow.
as his screensaver. All right, and then you've got San Diego, the Cheaters, against the Dodgers.
Dodgers are going to smoke them.
All right, let's get to tonight's game. Did you find out the spread for me for tonight's game?
No, because you got me looking
right.
for the other pitcher.
Seriously,
talk for
Randall,
10
you want a
seconds.
job? You want a producer job? Jojo, before you give us a pick, break the game down for us. You've got the Las Vegas Raiders playing in Kansas City against your Kansas City Chiefs. Go ahead. Before you give us the final winner, break it down a bit for us.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Okay.
Give me a Okay. So Mahomes is 7-1 against the Raiders, including a 3-1 record at Arrowhead Stadium. All three of these wins have been at home, have come by 30-plus points. So,
All right, so the Raiders are getting 7,
Yeah.
which means Kansas City's given. Raiders start off with a touchdown. Who you picking?
for a touchdown?
Well, the Raiders get 7. So will the Chiefs cover that 7? Will they beat the Raiders by more than 7 tonight?
Yes.
Okay, give me what you think. Now, last week he had to pick against his mom's Giants. This week he's got to pick against his grandfather's Raiders.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Same thing.
Who's keeping track,
What are you,
JoJo?
a fact
Come on.
checker for CNN?
Jesus Christ.
For real. Let's go. All right. Give me a final.
A final?
Final score.
Final score will be 28-14.
It's not bad. That's
I got to tell you, that's almost keeping the Raiders in the game. If I was to put a couple hundo down, wink, wink, I'm thinking the absolute over on this game, which is 51.5.
easy.
And I think the final on this game is going to be a good probably 49 to 13.
You think they're going to run it up like that?
I think they're going to smoke them out of the
Really?
building 49 to 13. Yep. And I was pretty good on my picks this week, so I'm gonna keep with it. And
I love that Thursday night spread.
yeah.
Commanders getting 1.
Yeah. The Commanders are getting 1. Which means if you get a safety, you might cover. Holy moly.
That's the greatest spread ever.
Go ahead, JoJo. Real quick, no spread, no nothing. Do the Commanders win Thursday night against the Bears in Chicago?
Yes.
Don't
right.
say it, dude.
Are you willing to bet Coach Stone a lunch? If the Commanders win, he has to buy you lunch. If the Bears win, you got to buy him lunch. Are you willing to do
Yes.
that? Okay, done deal. I'll let him know. JoJo, thanks for coming on tonight. I hope to see you soon. Hope everything's well at home.
You'll see me in like an hour.
Who's a
live
good?
at-
Who's a good boy?
He says you live at my house. Who's a good boy?
Who's a good boy?
Who's a good boy, Jojo?
Who's a good boy?
JoJo, thanks for coming on. And I'm about to talk about the time I committed larceny, so you don't have to watch the rest of the show if you don't want to.
Okay, bye, JoJo.
Bye, JoJo.
You take the headphones off.
Yeah, I know, Dad. Dude, you see him just dive on his bed? Holy
That kid is
moly.
the best.
All right, so
Real talk.
now we're going to get into some real talk. True inspirational story. Before we get into the story of the Napkin Nabber, Coach Stone said he's in, so there you go. No spread, no nothing. No spread. We're getting 1. It's only going to be funny
1
if the
point.
Bears win 17-16.
By 1.
You know, right?
And the push.
14-13. Our guy missed an extra point.
That's a push, guys. Easy money.
LiveWithJohnny.com. You can find all of our stuff there. Our TikTok is up and running. I'm still learning how to make it
You're doing
great
good,
and
dude.
put it
It's
all
funny.
out there.
I love it.
We need your help. We need you guys to just go out there and like, comment, subscribe, whatever these platforms are telling you to do. I see you guys will share a lost dog. Pretend I'm a lost dog and go out and share my stuff the same way, right? Somebody puts a friggin' entertainment system from the 1980s that weighs 642 pounds on the street. You guys all share that. Share my stuff. I mean, come on, man. There's a black bear in your backyard. 642 shares. Pretend I'm the black bear. Share my stuff. My God, you know?
Don't
and
get
here's an
snarky.
Idea. And here's an idea.
They don't like it when you get snarky.
I know. I'm demanding. Really, I can use the help. I can use the favor. It's all for a good cause. Thank you very much. I appreciate every listener we have. Want to sit in on an episode of Live with Johnny? Want to sit right here and hang out with us? You know, and just say something sarcastic every once in a while? You could sit. Oh, I got it right here. You could be sitting right here, right underneath the balls that Kirk hung on the nail. Listen, send us a message. Say, hey, I want to sit in. You don't even really have to talk or say anything. Just come in. We'll break your balls. You can break my balls. We'll have a little fun. So if you're interested in sitting in Live with Johnny, let us know. I'm going to shut the book.
Gather round, kids. Come up to the fire.
Because I don't need notes on this one. I'm going to be very careful here. I'm going to go slow. I'm not going to miss any detail. I'm going to try to tell this thing as precise as possible. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go forward. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go forward. But this is a great story. I was arrested at the age of 18. Now, it's funny that I put that up there and people are like, that's Photoshop or this didn't really happen, blah, blah, blah. People thought I made up that article. They're like, that's super creative, dude. You know what that's not? That's not creative. That's real life. That really it was funny.
Life in the streets. This is what happens.
One of somebody I went to high school with, their mom sent me a message like, you are so darn creative. Who even thinks of this stuff? And I just replied back with, tune in Monday night. It's a true story. So without further ado, I'm 18 years old. I believe it's a Friday or Saturday night. And you going to put that up there? That's funny. It's a Friday or Saturday night. I don't even remember. And my mother at the time, at that point, she's the only living parent I have. And we are home. And she decides she's going out with friends. I think she was going to. Amy said, "That's your truth." See what she did there? She's killing it tonight. Every Monday night, she asks me if I'm ready to be funny. So I sent her. She would send me a text message. I leave in work, and I said, "You're not the boss." She replies back with, "I see you're ready to be funny." She's killing it tonight. She also wouldn't let me eat dinner. She also wouldn't let me eat dinner tonight, so I didn't burp and stuff. All right, here we go. Charlotte's right. Charlotte, if anybody who knew me at 18, they would believe it. You got that right. I was a loose cannon. Anywho, everybody thinks I'm just like this boring old gray-haired man. But back in the day, I think that's why I'm so calm, cool, and collective now. Because back then I only had 2 gears. This and then balls to the walls. But anyway, my mother was going to a concert. I want to say Tom Petty.
Not bad.
So I told a couple of friends, nothing huge, because at the time we were just living in an apartment in Oxford. I said, let's get some of the guys together. Let's get some brewskis, a little of that there marijuanas, and let's hang out, right? So one of my buddies picks us up, and we get in his car, his mom's car, and we're drinking a couple of them damn Miller Lights. Well, there's 2 driver, passenger, 3 people in the back seat. I'm one of the people in the back seat. Somebody kicks a foot, Miller Lite spills over into the guy's car. We got a little bit of beer. So the kid's like, oh my God, it's my mom's car. It's going to smell, blah, blah, blah. We are parked right outside Dunkin' Donuts in Oxford. I walk in. I see the napkins. And I just, I think 4 times. 4 napkins.
Took a couple napkins.
4 napkins. You're talking what at this point? 0.08 cents?
Not a problem.
Okay. Woman at the time, she's probably 50 years old, looks at me and says, what are you doing? So I was just grabbing some napkins. A friend of mine spilled something in the car. She goes, no, you're not.
Does she work there? Is it an employee or a...
How about you let me tell the story?
Okay.
All right, thanks.
I mean, it would be nice to know.
At this time, I'm 18. I'm a little bit of a, for lack of a better word, punk. I got a couple of Miller Lights in me. And if you knew me back in the day, you know, where there was Miller Lights, there was also Seagram 7, which was my thing back then.
Oh, my God.
I know. So anyway.
Jesus Christ.
She tells me, no, you're not. I said, what do you mean I'm not? She goes, You're not buying anything. You're not getting any napkins. I said, well, ma'am, I just need these 4 napkins. And see what just happened?
Whoa, who's that?
I told you, man. Somebody's hacking our page.
That's in Arabic, dude.
Yeah, delete that, please.
I'm going to delete that. Go.
Sorry. It might be the owner of the Dunkin' Donuts telling me to go screw. So I said, what do you mean, no, I'm not? She's like, no, you're not. So now I'm at the point where I'm starting to get agitated. I said, ma'am, listen, I'm just going to take these napkins. I want to help my friend. He spilled something in his mom's car. He's going to get in trouble. I just need these napkins. She's like, no, you are not. Now, there's nobody in this place, or so I thought. We'll get to that. There's nobody in here. Me, her, and one of her employees. And I'm looking at her like, are you serious right now? Like, is this a real... Are you being dead serious with me? She goes, put the napkins back and do not ever... Put the napkins back and get out of my store. And I'm just looking at... Dude, and I'm fuming now. And I'm like...
Now I'm starting to get on your side. Initially, I was like, this dude's dumb. Now I'm like...
And she's got these 2 napkin holders on the counter, right? They're the old school longy ones, you know. And I go, ma'am, I'm taking the napkins. And she inches closer to me. She's like, no, you're not. Now I'm in a Mexican standoff about napkins, right? Who's good? Here's the way I just said napkins. Napkins. So now I got a decision to make. I either turn tail and get out of her store.
It's fight or flight.
Or
it's like
I stick up for every 18-year-old kid in the world who just needs 4 napkins to help his friend sponge up some beer in the back seat of his mother's car because we shouldn't be drinking in the car and we don't want it to smell like beer. So I looked at her one more time and I said, ma'am, I'm just taking these napkins and I don't want a problem. She goes, you touch those napkins, I'll call the cops. I said, you're going to call the cops because I'm taking napkins, 4 napkins? She said, yeah. So you know what I did? I put my hands inside both napkin holders. I picked them up. I said, now nobody gets napkins. And I walked out right there. I got 2 napkin holders. I open the back seat of the car. I get in. My buddy looks at me and he goes, what the fuck are you doing? I said, just go. He's like, what? I said, just go. They said,
hit it, Chewy.
They said, what happened? I said, that woman's a dick. And I tell them the story. And they're just laughing. They're like, dude, you're out of control. So now they're like, the kid driving's like, we're going to circle back and give him right back. I'm like, and truth be told, I said, not now, maybe later or tomorrow. But for now, fangul. She's not getting them. So we go. This is at about 7:30 at night. She doesn't know me. I don't know her. There's nobody in the place. Or so I thought.
Suspense intensifies.
You fast forward a couple hours. My mom's now, like I told you, she's at a concert, okay? This is very integral to the jail part of the story.
Yes.
So pay attention
Go on.
It's at home.
We're following.
We go back to my place at Oxford, and we start partaking in more Miller Lights, more Seagram 7s, and a little bit of the you-know-whats, right? So one of my buddies who had way too many hits off of the bong, he's lit. When I got home, I put one of the napkin holders on the kitchen table because we got a pizza and we're going to need napkins. I took the other napkin holder, and I think I threw it in my brother's room like as a joke. When he gets home, he's going to find a napkin holder. So there's probably like 5 or 6 of us at this point. It's probably about, 11 o'clock at night. We're all feeling a little good. And what happens next? At the front door. I'm like, first of all, can't be a friend because nobody knocks at our house. Since my dad was alive and even with my mom now, no one has ever had to knock at our homes. Everyone was welcome. Everybody just walked through our house. Even the Jehovah's Witnesses. They didn't even knock. They just came in. They had a cup of coffee, smoked a Winston with my dad and tried to convince him to go to God. He didn't. They'd watch a little bit of the game. They left. Done. Nobody ever knocked at our house. So I'm like, who the fuck? Buddy opens the door. He goes, I see him. He opens the door. He goes like this. Boom, boom, and he just shuts it real quick. And I'm like, what? And before he could say a word,
A little more aggressive with this one.
I go, that's a cop knock. He goes, yeah, it is. I was like, what the hell? Open up the door. There is 2 Oxford cops and a state trooper. Now, to know back in the day, Oxford was just getting their own police station. And one of the cops was like this old 65-year-old dude who was a really nice guy, but he's a retired guy from another town. And they're like, help us start the police station. Okay. Then there was another young kid whose father used to be selectman or something. And he was like 25 and he was a complete yo-yo. Quick story about him. He went to arrest somebody one time or pull them over. He got out of the car. He left the fucking thing in drive and it just kept going. So he was literally
Good
like
story.
Barney Fife. You know what I mean?
Party.
So I see him and he's looking at me because I got to befriend the guy because he was 20, like 25. I was 18 and he would see us all around town and he was cool with us. You know, he's trying to be the cool cop guy. So I said, what's up? He said, are you John Dodato? I said, yeah. He said, were you at Dunkin' Donuts down on, I call it Route 67, but there's a name for it. Oxford Road. Maybe.
Oxford Road.
And I said, I don't know. I don't really remember. I've been drinking. He goes, you know you're underage. I said, yeah, but you know, I'm letting you know. I said, there's nothing in the house. In my pocket, I had something at the time that was not legal just yet. So I'm just trying to I always was taught, be firm about what you're talking about. People believe you and you'll be fine. So I'm going to Jedi mind trick the state trooper, who's about 65 himself. And he's about 6'6", African-American gentleman, and he ain't having it. So he goes, what if I told you that I know you were at Dunkin' Donuts earlier today? I said, well, how do you know? This is where we're going to rewind a little bit. 2 to 3 days before all of this transpired, I had a girlfriend in high school or whatever, and it was time to break up with her, and I broke up with her, and I was just like, listen. Well, she wasn't happy with that part of it.
She didn't like that.
And she was out to, she's out for blood, man. She was like, a couple days before, she showed up at my work. She showed up at my house. She showed up at a friend's house. She's not going to have it. Well, who is sitting in the corner of Dunkin' Donuts drinking a coffee that I don't see because I'll never say her name, but she was a skinny little crackhead. Her best friend, her very best friend in the world was somehow stuck in the corner of Dunkin' Donuts and saw the whole thing go down. And the way the cop tells it, John, the second you left the store, the girl said to the woman, I know who that is, call the cops. Now, mind you,
she fucking ratted you out, dude.
This is like 1995, 96, right? So there's no cell phones. There's no nothing. Listen, my mom was at a Tom Petty concert. We had a beeper. So that I'll get to that point of the story. That's how long ago the story takes place. So I'm like, whatever. And he goes, she says you took some napkin holders. Now, do you remember the part where I told you my friend partook in a little bit too much marijuana?
Yes.
When the cop came to the door, I said to him, yo, hide that thing. He's like, yeah. Cop says, I said, I didn't take anything. He goes, John. And he's looking me right in the eye. And I go, I didn't take anything. He goes, John. And he looks over. I look behind me and my buddy, remember the pizza I told you we had?
Yeah.
He took a napkin holder that was about this thick, put it inside the pizza box and tried to fold the top of the pizza box.
To hide the napkin.
And he's like this on top of it. And you could literally see a Dunkin' Donuts napkin hanging out of the pizza box and the box crushed over like this. So now
he made an attempt.
I just look at him. Cops look at me. Here, it was like a movie. I look at him. We both look at the napkin holder. We look back at each other. Look at the napkin holder. I said, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'll take him back. He goes, John, I'm sorry. She wants you arrested. I said, she wants me arrested for taking napkin holders? He goes, yeah. I go, well, you're not going to arrest me, right? He goes, well, I have to. She owns a business. You walked into her place of business, and she's pressing charges. I'm an 18-year-old man about to be arrested for stealing napkins. I have no idea how I'm going to explain any of this to anyone. I was like, you have got to be kidding me.
Oh, my God.
So I start to get real nervous and I start to get red. And the young Oxford cop who knew me can see that he goes, and he looks at me and he goes, John, do you have anything in your pockets before we take you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, can I just leave my wallet and stuff here? And the state trooper's like, well, we're going to need your ID. And he goes to spin me around to pat me down. And in my pocket, I had something illegal. a little of that green stuff we were talking about, and
Yeah,
maybe
you had weed in your pocket. You could
I
say
don't
it,
try to be
dude.
nice. Little weed and maybe a little pipe.
I think the statute of limitations has expired.
Well, there might be children watching. And I had a little pipe to smoke it in.
Okay.
So the Oxford cop goes, okay, and like to his credit, I still owe him to this day. He rushes past the state trooper, grabs my arm, walks me into my dining room, and he's like, what the fuck? And I just take the stuff and I freaking hum it into the living room, and I just grab my license, put it in my pocket, and they cuff me in my living room.
Are you kidding me?
So I said,
What?
I said, before we go, the state trooper, I'm stuffed right behind, right to the back, dude. Napkin Nabber has been nabbed at this point.
They had to handcuff you?
Handcuffed me, smoked me, put me in the back seat.
What?
But, so before we leave the house, I go, yo, what do I do? He's like, well, where are your parents? And I tell him my mom is my mom's at a concert. So I tell my friends who are stoned and drunk, stay here. If my mom calls, you got to tell her, or when she gets home, tell her.
Let her know what's
Let
happening.
her know what's happening because they are taking me to jail.
Right. Things are happening.
State cop puts me in the back of his car and we're driving and there's silence and he stops at a stop sign and he's a big dude and he just turns around and he looks at me and goes, this has to be about the dumbest goddamn thing that anybody could do. He goes, what the hell? I'm like, I know. So now I'm in the back of the car. We get to Southbury Barracks and again, there's no cell phones. I cannot call my mother. We're paging her.
911 page.
Her pager, at the time, she only had a work pager. Oh, sorry, your cat is killing my nose again.
Sorry.
And she didn't bring it with her.
Linda.
So the cop says, listen, man, you got to stay here till your mother comes and gets you. Right? And I'm like, dude, I'm 18 years old. I don't know. Staying here till your mother's coming to get you. I was drinking. He's not letting any of my friends come get me. I don't know where my older brother is. I said I got an older brother. He's 20 years old. We don't knowing him. He was in Deer Creek, Indiana, watching the Grateful Dead. Who knows? You're not going anywhere till your mother comes to get you. I said, okay. I said, is there a bond? He goes, if your mother comes tonight, it's going to cost her $50 because it's a $500 bond. I'll get the bondsman. Blah, blah, blah. Uh-huh. If you have to stay the night, I go, stay the night? Sir! What do you mean stay the night? Sir! Now I went from cool, punk 18-year-old to, I gotta stay in jail?
Now you're in Midnight Express mode.
There were napkins! There were freaking napkins, man! Like, I can't go to jail. Yo, what are you in for? Napkins. Nab me some napkins, man.
You gotta be
Tell you, there ain't a napkin in this world that's safe around me, bro.
John, what is wrong with you?
So now I'm in the thing, and he goes, all right, listen.
Oh, my God.
I get a little agitated, pissed off, and I say something to some of the people, police officers I probably shouldn't have said. Some shit like, don't you people have something more important to do, like eat a fucking donut? Some dumb, stupid, young punk bullshit. So now they're like, listen, we're going to put you in a cell. I said, okay, here's our problem. We only have the 2 cells. And in this cell are 2 very violent people who were arrested for some violent things. And in this one is a very drunk old man. You choose. And I'm like, drunk old man? I am not in this cell 2 seconds and this drunk old man walks over to me and starts pissing everywhere. Everywhere.
You should have chose what was behind curtain.
Now, if you've
2.
ever been, the other 2 do. I'm telling you the truth. When you see like on TV, you go to jail and they're like, "What's up, fresh meat?" These dudes were. I was so like, they were like, "Yo, we're gonna get out of here. You're gonna come with us." I'm like,
We're busted out, bro.
No. So the cop's like, "Man, I'm sorry," and they're literally keeping me in there. And I don't know if anybody's ever been in a prison in the mid-'90s, but there was a drain at the bottom of the thing for this very. So now I'm just sitting. Remember the friends I left home?
Yeah.
Tell my mom?
Yes.
Okay.
That was their one job.
My mother got home at about 12:15, as the story goes. And she sees a bunch of dudes passed out laying around and my bedroom door shut. Johnny's sleeping.
Had a good time. all passed out. I'll go to bed too.
Well, one of my friends gets up at about 5 in the morning, starts puking. My mom gets up. She's like, what the fuck? Goes in my bedroom to get me and be like, this is your problem. Johnny's not in his bedroom. So my mother says, guys, where's Johnny? And one, oh shit, that's Joe. He's in jail. My mother's like, what?
He's in jail.
Anyway, my mom comes to get me. She's not happy. To those guys, I'm not bad mouthing the Southbury barracks. They bought me a bacon, egg, and cheese the next morning. I don't know from where.
Did they?
It was delicious. It was 5:15 in the morning by the time I think my mom got me out like 5:30, 5:40. And they got me a bacon, egg, and cheese. I didn't drink coffee at the time, so they got me like an orange juice. And, the cops that were coming in for their shift were like, you the napkin kid? Oh, fucking dummy. I'm like, whatever, dude.
So were you up all night in the cell? Did you sleep or what did you do all night?
So the drunk guy pissed the second time.
Yeah.
Somebody came down with a mop. They took us out. They cuffed us to the outside of the jail cell. So I had my arm like this this is for stealing napkins. He mopped up the urine, and then they put us back in the cell, and the drunk old man just kept going. You just mumbling and just saying stuff like, I don't even know. I really don't remember what he was saying. I was just like, I got to get out of here. The two violent guys ended up fighting each other. One of them had to get transported to another police station while the other one stayed there. It was quite the experience. And of course, all the cops are like, you see, you mess around with the law, you don't want to end up like these guys, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand.
Were they trying to scare you straight a little bit?
They were.
Feel like, part of it was
they were. But here's the thing, and where I talk about justice and inspiration. Do you know how many young kids would spill a Miller Lite in the back of their mother's car, their friend's mother's car, and not even give a shit? I wasn't one of those kids, man. I was considerate. I was thinking about everyone involved in this story, from the car owner to the car driver to the people inside the car, everywhere, trying to make sure that everything was taken care of and I was being considerate. And for my consideration, Mr. Rano has a question. Ask it at any point, sir.
Go on, David.
So, I'm very, you got to be kidding me. So, I get home, and my mother says, where are the napkin holders? And I show her both napkin holders. She says, we're going down there right now. We're going to return them. I'm like, all right. Well, I mean, I already got arrested. I think my mom's thinking the woman will be convinced not to press charges.
Right. You show up, you make it right. Fair.
We don't even get out of the car. The woman sees me holding two napkin holders. She bolts out of her store and says, you don't come in my store. I'm taking you to court. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. Tells my mother you're raising Satan or some bullshit. Like you're raising the devil or something like that. And to be truthful, I wasn't even that bad. So anyway, at this point, there's like 9 people that know that this happened. No question, just raising hand because I've spilled beer on friends' cars and not cared.
Good.
My man.
See? Proving your point again.
This is like an after-school special, bro.
Stand-up guy.
The more you know. At this point, only about 9 people know. The people who arrested me, the person I stole from, a couple of friends, and my mom and my family. Right? Done. I don't know if anybody remembers, but back in the day, we had the Evening Sentinel, and they would report on anything.
Oh, I mean, they'll.
So the picture that you can see is the newspaper clipping from the Evening Sentinel. And as you can see, napkin napping uncovered in Oxford. So let's dissect this, okay? Because I feel like they want to. A local youth has been charged by police. Okay, so investigating the recent thefts of 2 napkin dispensers.
Now, is it thefts plural because there's 2 dispensers? Like
no,
he's making you sound like a serial napkin nabber.
Here's right. They make it sound like
gave you a name.
They make it sound like I dropped from the ceiling in a Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, right. On a zip
snatched these wonderful napkin holders, and they have been investigating this case. Like there were detectives,
full
like
resources,
fingerprints and DNA and all this nonsense.
Who was this reporter?
So
dude?
already,
Oh my God.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
What?
Then of course they give my name, they give my address. Who cares?
Time, day.
Right. So I was off on the time. They arrested me at about 12:15. All right, that's fine. And actually, no, they came to my house before that. They must have booked me.
Yeah. Also,
at
the
12:15.
dispenser wasn't in plain view. It was inside a pizza box.
Well,
So,
we'll get to that. So, and they say,
come on.
and I love how they get to right away to my last name. Dadato was arrested at his home. Like, they finally got the guy. Jeffrey Dahmer
We
taken out
found
of his
him.
home.
We found him. Video at
Yeah,
9.
Yeah, we got the bad guy. He was at home.
Helicopter circling.
And it says where one of the dispensers was in plain view. Here's what I learned from this article. And I didn't really realize this until I got older. This dude really, the guy who wrote this article really put his work in, because to know that there was in plain view, to know what time I got arrested, to know he put the address of the Dunkin' Donuts, my address. Like, this was a real article for this guy.
And I'm assuming this is the entirety of the article. It's 2 paragraphs.
That's it.
So this was.
But he
that guy.
really dives.
This is his week, I think.
So when he went to his editor, and they were like, make it sound juicy. Napkin napping uncovered in Oxford. As if it happens elsewhere? Where else is napkin napping happening? And I got to ask.
That is.
He is, listen, the word napping comes from kidnapping. He is incensed saying that I kidnapped these napkins.
The napkins.
This is like.
That is.
Okay.
Surreal.
Sixth degree larceny. That sounds like I'm a career thief. Like I'm putting in work, man.
And let's be honest, I commit a 6th degree larceny every time I leave my house. That's not. He's making it sound way worse. It's larceny.
This is the equivalent of a kid taking a Tootsie Roll back in the day. But this dude, listen, look at this. I got bold lettering. They tell you the town it happened in. They tell you the charge that I got. They call me by my last name, and they let you know how it was found. That's a serious article.
And it's a very aggressive use of commas, too. Like, bold, John Dadato, comma, 18, comma. He just wants to fucking hit every word.
This is the evening. Yeah, he really did. And look how my name's in bold. Right? So
it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
So this is the Evening Sentinel in the Connecticut Post, which I wish I could find the article. Anybody who's ever able to find an article, if you get a microfiche somewhere in a library, let me know. In the Connecticut Post, it literally said Napkin Nabber nabbed. Big article about the same thing. So now I go to school. Every single teacher, every class I'm in has this. Both articles cut and taped to the blackboard.
Well, you're big news now.
In the morning announcements. Remember you used to get morning announcements?
Yes.
The kids who got picked to do the thing, they were like, and if you could look at your blackboards and you could read about the Napkin Nabber, and you hear the whole school.
Oh, my God.
Which at the time, listen, who doesn't love attention more than I do? So I didn't really give a shit.
It's fine.
Didn't really care.
Jesus
But now in the Napkin Nabber, right? True story. I can name at least 2 kids whose moms told them they are not allowed to hang around with me anymore because I'm a thief and I'm like a criminal.
Stay away from that Dadato guy. He's a napkin nabber.
John, what is wrong with you?
Telling these kids they can't hang out with me. Rano says it's a country song. Jake Blue, if you're listening, we got to get a napkin song out there. I'll do a little background for you.
Drop a beat.
She said no, so I told her, gonna take your napkin holder. All right?
Done.
We already got the chorus in. Right?
Wrap it up.
You say no, I'm going to be singing that all night. Anyway.
Oh, my God. That is ridiculous, dude.
Now I got to go to court. I have to go to court, okay?
She did press charges.
Charges are pressed. I have to go to court. So, of course, my mother's like, I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to tell that judge you're not a bad boy, and we're going to give the napkin holders back, and this woman's just going to have to understand that you're a fucking idiot, and you try to do something funny, and you're a dumbass, and blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Okay.
Amy's sister said, shit, we got to hide the silver on Thanksgiving now. Jesus Christ. Listen, I'll bring the napkins. And so we're standing in court, and, I don't know if you've ever been arrested, but we get to the thing, and they announce case number blah. Dude, case number blah, blah, blah. The state of Connecticut versus John Dodato. My mother starts to cry because she's like, the state versus John Dodato.
The whole state?
And I'm not going to lie, dude. I felt like, yeah, motherfucker, the state versus John. Dude, I felt like such a bad. Yeah. So I'm like George Jefferson walking up to the thing, And here's a judge. He's like this little old dude, and he goes, I've been waiting to meet the Napkin Nabber all morning. He goes, how are you, Mr. Dodato? I'm like, I'm good. And he goes, you mean to say I'm good, sir? I'm like, oh, yes, Your Honor, I'm good.
They do like that, yeah.
And so now the judge is like, he's a little bit of, one of them funny judges. And they have paper towel or napkins or something on a table in case you need to wipe your face or something. He's like, I can trust that you won't be taking our napkin holder. It's like, you sock cucker. And so, of course, he's got to break my balls. And he looks over to the prosecutor, and he's like, whoa, we haven't had a case this big in a long time. All right, Milton Berle, can we be done now? Because now, let's go. And here's my mom. Your Honor, may I speak? And all of a sudden, I hear it. The woman from Dunkin' Donuts, no, I want to speak. And I'm like, this mother.
Oh, and she was waiting for her moment, dude. She was.
Judge is like, who are you? She's like, I'm the woman he's stolen from. And I'm like, you mean stole? My mom's like,
it's just a singular. No one.
So we go over it. And he's like, blah, blah, blah. So he says to the woman, okay, ma'am, what would you like to say? In my life, I have never, ever been treated this way. I was accosted in my own place of business.
That sounds familiar.
She was Karen way before Karen was Karen.
Yeah,
she was like
I was going to say
the original, just the original.
Yeah.
So now, my body language must be like, fuck you. Judge goes, are we boring you, Napkin Nabber? I'm like, oh man, this dude is out of control. All right. So my mother says, listen, my son, is this going to, just interrupt her, is this going to be on its record? What blah, blah, blah.
Permanent record.
So the judge says to the lady, ma'am, what would you like to see done? And I just blurt out, I go, I'm going to give her the napkin holders back. And the judge is like, well, speak when spoken to. Now he's a tough guy. All of a sudden he goes from, comedian to Joe Pesci and Goodfellas. All right, calm down. And she goes, no, I don't want him back. I want this to hurt. She literally says, I want this to hurt. And now I'm like, to hurt what? I'm like, this ain't Iraq, lady. They're not going to stone me because I took your napkin holders. I want him to pay. I want him to pay. So now listen, my mom's a single mother. Miguel's watching the Grateful Dead somewhere in the Midwest. And I don't even think they were on tour, but he's just doing what he's doing.
He's just there.
He's somewhere doing what Miguel does. Robert's out living the good life. He's like, him and Beth are already together. He's trying to pretend that he's not even related to the Napkin Nabber.
Me, trying to cut that bond.
Right. I'm just about to graduate high school. I got a little bit of a job. If I make $20, I spend it on Seagram 7. I don't got a pot to piss in. My mother doesn't have a pot to piss in. And now I'm starting to sweat because now I feel, my mom's going to have to pay for this. I'm going to have to pay her back. This is terrible. So the judge says, John, where's the napkin holders? My mother goes, they're in the car. I had them. I can go get them right now, Your Honor. And he's like, whoa, Mrs. Dodato, hold on. He says to the woman, why don't you just take the napkin holders back? John will make a donation to the United Way and we can be done with all of this. No. Nope. That's not what I signed up for.
What?
This woman she's got her foot on my throat. She wants me, I'm telling you right now.
Does she want prison time?
I'm telling you, if the judge said to her,
if
the judge said to her 30 days behind bars, she probably would have been like, that's it. That's it. That's what I want. So she goes, no, I want him to pay. He's going to pay for this. I want it to come out of his pocket. And I look, I go, then I'm keeping the napkin holders. If I'm paying for them, I'm keeping them. And my mother just pinches my leg in a way that a mother pinches your leg. It hurt so bad. I think I had a bruise on it for like 3 weeks. And the judge looks at me like, how about you keep your mouth shut, right? Like he gives me the disgusted look. Okay, ma'am, if that's what you want, the judge says. He goes, Mr. Donato, are you ready to make restitution today? And I'm like, Your Honor, I got like $3 on me. He says, can you borrow the money from your mother? And my mother's like, well, Your Honor, I guess, yes. I mean, I just hope. And I don't really, to know my mom, you could ask my mother, how are you? And she'd be like, it all started back in 1971, okay? I was walking the dog. But she'll give you the whole life story. So now even the bailiff's like, ma'am, zip it a lip. Zip it a lip. And the judge says, oh, let's fix it. Ma'am, what are we talking about here? If Mr. Donato's ready to make restitution today, what are we talking about here? And this woman, this absolute turd of a woman, says $31 and some odd cents. I look at her and I go, you had me arrested for $31?
$31.
Now the bailiff like gets in between us because I must have taken a step or something. Like, I don't care. And the bailiff's like, we're not going to do that today, son.
Settle down, kid.
Did you ever watch The People's Court? I look him right in the eye and go, all right, settle down, Rusty.
Rusty.
Settle down. To this day, I wish I called him Bull from Night Court, but I didn't.
My God.
So my mom writes a check for $31.
What?
I get to keep the napkin holders. We're walking out and, oh, hold on. My mother writes a check for $31. She goes, who do I give it to, Your Honor? And she's like, you give it to Mrs. So-and-so. She had like a Greek last name or something. And, Your Honor, before I accept the money, one more thing. And now even the judge is like, what? He's banned from my store for life. I don't ever want him in there again. Ever. And now because Johnny's a dick and he can't resist. I go, Your Honor, I have an identical twin brother. He shouldn't suffer for this.
Can I get a stipulation?
The judge just looks at me. He's like, wow. And to know my mom is to know my mom. She's like, he does. He has a twin brother.
He's not kidding.
She's like, I might have a picture here. The judge is like, I don't need to see a picture. I don't need Mrs. Donato. I believe you. Ma'am, John's got an identical twin brother. You might see him. She goes, oh, I'll be able. I know him. I don't care about that. I'm banned for life from Dunkin' Donuts on Oxford Road. I got the napkin holders. I go home. Get there. First, my mom goes, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm going, man. Of course.
She goes, no, you're not. I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts.
No, that's the first place you go, dude.
So back then, literally, to know us is to not know us. You wouldn't know which one was which. Same haircut, no facial hair really at the time. So this is like 2 hours later. I get out of the car. I walk right into Dunkin' Donuts, and you see the woman, and she's like,
oh, she is. She's
like
waiting.
And I look right at her and I go, I heard you met my brother and my mother today. I'm his twin brother. I'm really sorry. Kid could be a real pill sometimes. He's been a pain in my ass his entire life. Let me get an orange juice and one of them frosted chocolate frosted.
John and his shenanigans.
And she's just serving me like. And she looks at me and she goes, tell your brother to make sure he stays out of here. I'm like, you got it. Walked right out of there. I've been going to that store ever since. You could tell every time Robert walked in there, he'd get dirty looks. Every time I walked in there, I got dirty looks. She didn't know who was who. And one day, about probably 10 years after that, I wanted to say to her, you know I'm him, right? Like I'm the guy.
I mean, she's got to know, dude.
I'm
the
guy.
ruse.
I'm the guy.
I'm the napkin napper.
To answer the question, where are those napkin holders today? I don't know, but I will let you know that when I got my first apartment, those napkin holders lasted about 10 years with me to all the places I lived. Up until about age 30, I don't know where they are now. My mother might want to know, my mother might know where they are. But I'll tell you this. Every time I went into that woman's store, I made sure I got napkins.
You took napkin. Extra or a standard amount? Like, I sense that you might have gone a little hard.
I might have, like,
Just to-
where you needed 2, I might have taken 4. Where you needed 4, I might have taken 8.
Exactly.
But let me tell you something. I was so infuriated. What does it say? Oh, great minds think alike. Look what the wife just posted.
Grab extra napkins. See? She
Aim,
gets
I might
it.
stop at one on the way home. What color napkin holder you want?
I could use one. I mean, we could fit one if you want to grab one, dude.
Now, listen.
I always need napkins.
It's
in here.
8:30 already. That story took off. But I know you got to go to bed, watch Matlock.
You're
But listen.
fine.
You got to understand something. I spent about a year and a half of my life being the Napkin Nabber. There was a follow-up story in the newspaper about how this case ended. Napkin napping ends in, and it was like ends in restitution or ends in find me. Like,
There was nothing going on in Oxford, dude.
no,
There was nothing for that paper to write
no,
out.
not back in the day.
Jesus fucking. That article, dude, is just ridiculous. I'm still looking at it.
Fast forward to 2 years,
Holy
to
shit.
about 2 years later, I'm at a field party. There's like this 6-foot monster, just an absolute monster. And him and my brother, my older brother, are getting into it. And I got a couple of bruises in me. And I think I was peeing in the field. Anyway, long story short, I hear him tell his friend Miguel's going to get it tonight. And the dude's got like a crowbar or a tire iron or something. And I just reacted because it was my brother and it was going down. And the boys that I grew up with will tell you, my left hand, if I hit you with my left hand, it's cancel Christmas. And I'm a right.
Done.
But my left hand is I
jackhammer.
make a living with this thing.
Okay.
And I have this thing where
Noted.
at the time I have stupid power. I don't know where I get it from. I reach out, dude, and I rifle this dude one time. I broke his cheekbone. I got arrested. He pressed charges, but it all got dropped because his friend who was scared ended up telling the truth. Now, why that witness got scared? I don't know, but Miguel could tell you that story. Anyway, I'm standing in a courtroom, me and the dude, and the judge goes, not 2 seconds into it, he goes, I see the Napkin Nabber has graduated to other things. I'm like, what the
How long? What? 2 years later?
2 years later.
And you're still carrying
still the
that
Napkin
moniker.
Nabber. I had a teacher in high school. I didn't see her for like 5 years after graduation, and she was like, "Still nabbing napkins?" I'm like, "You're still a miserable bitch." But
That
anyway,
is
I
a
love her.
badge of honor, my friend. That
I got to tell you, man. At the time, I thought it was goofy, and I thought it was stupid, and I was mad that it happened. But in my later years, that's a great fucking story. That's a great thing to have. I hope I never leave this article. I might get a tattoo of it.
You are such an asshole.
Thanks, Linda.
I've been wanting to tell the story for a while, and I went slow, and I hope I
great
hit all the
story.
details.
That was intense, dude. What a
because
ride.
It was you couldn't believe. Rando says the next tattoo. I don't even have one tattoo. I got to get
dude,
the first tattoo.
As soon as he said that, I looked at that. Get all of that text right on your left bicep. You could get that whole article text on your bicep. It would be amazing. And I know
With
a
the
guy.
outline and everything.
Yeah, I know a guy. We'll talk about it.
All right. I couldn't believe the roller coaster of life that was the napkin napping. Between
Crazy.
the arrest and the court case and the going through and the being banned from, it was like when you say nothing was going on in Oxford, nothing was going on in Oxford. I do want to end this story with one thing. To the crackhead chick who ratted me out, you know who you are. You know what you did. I will never name you for 2 reasons. 1, I'm not a snitch. And 2, I cannot remember your name.
But even if you could, you're not going to snitch her
I
out.
remember where she lived. I could probably ask somebody, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. But that was messed up of you.
That was not cool, dude.
But there was karma because the girl I broke up with,
Yeah.
that was all mad, and she had to go, I know how to get you out of trouble. I just saw him steal napkin holders. The girl I broke up with slept with her boyfriend, and they were together for like 5 years after that. So fuck around, find out, dummy. Napkin Nabber story has been told. We were going to introduce a new segment tonight. It's already 8:34. We will introduce it next week. Don't worry. It'll be interesting. We might mention it in our post this week. I need you guys to do me a favor. How much time do we have? You in a hurry?
No, go ahead, dude.
Where's the microphone for the phone?
Oh, my God.
Today's National Mental Health Day. I wanted to mention it. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
And I'm always telling people to reach out to somebody and ask them how they are. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to reach out to somebody and ask them how they are today.
Okay.
Let's just go random. When you guys are done watching this show, I want you to call or text somebody and ask them how they're doing today.
Hey, Johnny, what's going on?
Nothing, buddy. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Nothing. I hate to bother you, but you're one of the original Live with Johnny fans. I'm actually recording an episode right now. You know how I end every episode, and I always say you should always ask somebody how they're doing, especially somebody you haven't spoken to in a while. And I actually had a dream about you the other night. So, my man, I'm calling to ask you, how are you?
Good, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm excellent, man. You see the dime I married. You ain't got to ask me them questions, bro.
Yeah.
How's the wife? How's the kid?
Good. Wifey's right here, right next to me. She's studying for a test.
What kind of test is she taking?
Project management certification. I don't know, some big wig kind of deal. I don't know what's going on.
Jesus, I can't even manage to get my fly down in time. Good for her.
Yeah, it was doing good.
How are you?
Yeah, good, man.
You sound good. I saw a picture of you on Facebook. You look like you lost some weight. I love that.
Yeah, did not lose some weight, but thanks.
You
Appreciate
look,
that.
you looked good.
Yeah, doing all right.
But you were always one of the handsome ones anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't get all the ladies like you, though.
my wife's listening. I don't want to keep you too long. I've been thinking about you the past couple of days. We haven't talked in a while. Real quick, I'm with Kirk. He's a huge Clutch fan, so if you two want to fanboy over Clutch, you can do that sometime. Matt's a huge Clutch fan.
When are they coming back in town?
They should be back. I don't think this year, but I think by spring of 2023, they're either going to be at Toads again or possibly at the Oakdale. Either way,
All right, we're boring
there.
people.
Sorry.
All right, listen,
I'll see you there, though, bro.
buddy.
Absolutely, man.
I just wanted to call, tell you I was thinking about you. You know that I love you. You're one of my all-time favorite people, and I wanted to know how you're doing. And now we know how each other doing, and more importantly, let's not make it too long for the next time that we talk.
Absolutely, brother.
Can you do me a favor?
Talking to you.
Can you do me a favor? Tomorrow,
Yeah,
text somebody else and ask them how they're doing. Do that for me?
I will. Absolutely.
All right, tell your wife I said hello. Tell Ava I said hello. I love you.
Definitely.
All right.
Good hearing from you, buddy.
Peace out.
See ya.
Bye.
That was nice.
Mental Health Day. Take it seriously. And until this country does, we're going to lose student athletes like we've been losing them. We're going to I shouldn't say student. We're going to lose students, young kids. We're going to lose military people. We're going to lose all kinds of people because nobody knows how to ask them how they're doing or ask them what they're feeling and try to talk to them. Do it. Get it done. I love all of you. You need us. You call us. Bright Eyes, I'm coming home. We'll see you next week. Peace.